slow down aging. Okay, now if you're interested in knowing about how to slow this down and you want to have probably a life of less disease, then this is something that you stick on. And a small eye opener here as to what you can really do about it and what's really going on with this aging story. Okay. So welcome back. Now, the mitochondria is a part of your cell and it is the energy factory. Sorry about that. Now, as as long as it functions properly, this mitochondria is going to support your life till as long as you live. And it is extremely important to keep this mitochondria energy factory well lubricated and well functional, functional to function very well. Now, there is a certain thing that a lot of medical students will study, and it's called the Krebs cycle. And essentially, what it does is, if you can just look at it at a very simple level, the oxygen is used, energy is created, and carbon dioxide is released, and this entire exchange is happening. Okay, but it's an extremely complicated process. As you can see this diagram here, you can see what's happening. And the mitochondria plays this very vital role of giving the body its energy and keeping it alive. And there are a lot of things that happen uh, when the mitochondria is active. There are a lot of things that do happen, like a cleanup in your system and removing dead things from your body. This is really, really, really important because there is a garbage disposal that happens in your body, and guess what? It needs energy. Okay, even that activity of cleaning the body needs energy, and that's why the mitochondria is extremely important for you. Now, where do we get this energy? We get this energy from food. Okay, so there is a certain thing that helps this food get to where it has to go, the mitochondria factory, the factory for energy. And they call these cofactors. Okay, and these cofactors are sort of nutrients or molecules that can help you turn fat and glucose into energy. But what happens is if you're missing a couple of nutrients, what happens is there is a slowdown of this conversion. It doesn't get converted. And there's sort of like a backflow. Okay. It kind of puts itself in the queue, waiting for these certain elements to come into your food and into your diet so that it can start to change this food into energy. So in some cases, you might be missing these vital nutrients in your diet. So before we get into that part of what the diet is, there is a very important molecule that helps create this ATP or the energy. Okay, it's called NAD. Okay, I've just put the description out there. You know, as you know, all these medical and chemical terms are all tongue twisters. Nicotinamide, adenine, dinucleotide. I hope I got that right. But anyway, NAD is kind of what everyone does, and we live with acronyms. We're in a day and age of having acronyms everywhere. So it's not important to remember this particularly, but it is an important molecule. Now, what does it do? It prevents, your muscles from degenerating or getting, losing that muscle. It helps you battle cancers. It helps protect you, from radiation, toxic environments. It's really important. Okay. But the problem is, as we get older, the NAD production gets kind of depleted because there is another particular molecule that's called the CD38. And these are part of your immune cells. Okay, it's important, it's required. And what it does is it kind of metabolizes this NAD and converts it to something else. But as we get older, there is a lot more of this CD38 because, our body keeps fighting and, we're always under attack from environment, could be bacteria, fungus, virus, you name it. And so our immune system is extremely primed. And it starts to get more and more complicated as we get older. And what happens is it starts to eat into this NAD, which is an important molecule. So your ratio of your NAD starts to come down. And that comes down, your body has lesser chance of converting this into energy. Okay. And this health of the mitochondria is what actually keeps you young. Okay. Young in many ways. It can even show on the surface, your face, your body, especially if you start to lose your firmness in the muscle, is something that unfortunately makes you look a little older. Okay. Now, foods are here to the rescue, and certain foods uh, have molecules that the body requires. Okay. Of course, we're going to get into Greek and Latin again terms. Apigenin, okay, or epigenin as some people pronounce it, is an important molecule. I will not tell you how it really works because that's getting into biochemistry, and I don't want to make it so complicated. Celery has a lot of this. Okay, thyme, oregano, basil. These are some things that you can garnish on any food. It's not so difficult to just sprinkle it on your food and have it. And especially if you're somebody who has maybe a light pasta or a salad, or even if you have a juicy piece of meat, you can definitely sprinkle a lot of this. Okay. And celery is got a lot of it. So if you do have celery around, just make sure you get enough of it into your diet. Okay. And celery stalks, they make fancy drinks out of it, but just chewing on it is just fantastic. Okay. Okay, so here again we have some more tongue twisters happening out here. Anthocyanin. Okay. So this is something that is found in a lot of the purple kind of like blueberries, uh, you know, uh, blue grapes, even red grapes, or not the green grapes, the red and the blue ones, elderberry, and you'll be surprised, the sweet potato has a lot of this. So uh, if people tend to get worried about, oh, sweet potato is sweet, it has sugar, it's not good. Now, the glycemic index of sweet potato is not too bad. Okay. It's probably as much as the fruit. And there's a lot of fiber in it. So something good to have, uh, because the fiber is extremely important for your body as well. And this is something that you can just throw into your diet. Okay. Uh, just boil it. Just boil it with a little salt, and definitely you do have it with the skin. Okay. If you're a little, edgy about the skin, make sure you wash it properly. Boil it in, salt water and a little turmeric. And that's what you're going to come to the next one, which is curcumin, which is found in turmeric. And turmeric is kind of abundant in lots of our diets. But there is one thing that you have to note, that you get various qualities of turmeric. Some of them have lower concentration of curcumin and some have higher ones. The higher ones typically have about 6%, and the ones that you very commonly get are only about 2%. Okay. So you probably have to add more into your food for that kind of, but then it adds to the bitterness. So when you're looking out for turmeric, look for something which has a lot more concentration of curcumin in it. And it is something you can definitely keep in your diet. And as to wonder why people sell this as capsules, that's because the concentration is very, very heavy, and which you won't get typically from putting a teaspoon or half a teaspoon of turmeric. You may not get as much. So there is also a kind of a nutraceutical which they actually sell this, but not to worry. In We have a lot of this in our diet, and it's abundant and not very expensive here, so we can afford to do that. Now, another thing that also helps you know uh, clear up the lungs, anti-inflammatory quercetin. Okay, but it is also an important factor in your mitochondria health. Okay, now quercetin can be found in onions and the outermost, I mean, not the skin, but the outermost sections have a lot more of quercetin in it. And of course, apple skin. Okay, if you think the apple is too sweet, just have the skin. And of course, there is a drug. Now, it's not food, this is a drug which is called methylene blue. Okay. Now, definitely, this is something you'll have to, probably talk to your doctor or your physician about. But just to know, it is a drug and it's been used quite some time back, and they've used it for a lot of things: antibacterial, antifungal. It was probably one of the first antibiotics also kind of introduced. It used to be used as an antibiotic. It is also used to help, battle certain poisons. But very importantly, it blocks the CD38. So if you do, bump into your physician, you can ask them about this methylene blue and whether this is something that you might want to take. But it's something that definitely helps block the CD38, which is the one that sits on your immune system. So remember, the CD38 is also important. That's why it's in your body. It is a part of your immune system. It's only about the balance between your CD38 and the NAD. Now, if the NAD, because the CD38 kind of latches on, it's better to get food, which I mentioned, the molecules that I mentioned earlier. It's better to get that into your diet so that you can balance it out. It's only if it's an extreme case and where your CD38 is kind of hit the ceiling because of various reasons. It can be an effect of the body trying to fight off a virus or a bacteria or some kind of fungal infection. This CD38 can get exceedingly high. So probably a doctor might recommend it to you. So uh, I hope you enjoyed this topic, and I hope you get this stuff into your diet. It's not very difficult to get these things into diet. They are very widely abundant. It's the only thing we have to remember and kind of make it a habit. And the habit is that you got to have a variety of food. Do not repeat the same meal every time. Change it every day, change it every meal. The more diversity you have, the more chances your body has a chance to pick up the nutrients it requires. And it also keeps your digestive system on its toes, and it keeps your body guessing. So it's a little alert. And if you do give similar food every morning, afternoon, night, and day after day, you know what? It's like watching a movie 5 times. The sixth time you're gonna say, no, I can't watch this anymore. So you should remember that even the body can get kind of upset with you because it gets bored and says, what the hell, you're feeding me the same thing. So try and mix it around, and do comment if you like this particular topic, and we'll see you in the next one.